Whoa.
Let's go. And we welcome you in to an SEC Big Ten preview, second video of the season edition of the 4th and 1 podcast. I'm your co-host, Coach Trey, and who needs no introduction because he's got a clean shaven face and a heart ready to debate. Brother, how are we feeling?
We're feeling good, man. We got our weekly mini hurricane here in Louisiana still going on.
Dude,
that's been fun. So if we have some connection issues, let's blame Mother Nature there. But we've been good outside of that. How about yourself, man? How about yourself?
Rolls on. We're good. It's that weird part of the year, dude, where there's showers every evening. That's so freaking aggravating. I was gonna get off of work and go hit the white ball at the old range for a little bit, then decided to just come right home, and definitely wasn't shoveling dinner into my face 3 minutes ago, but whatever. This is kind of a weird feeling because, and I think we'll kind of get into this a little bit. This feels like what we're about to do. It feels a little dirty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like it kind of feels like these are the two conferences that everybody's now really kind of painting into a corner. And I don't want us to get away from the ACC because we'll on another episode we'll talk about why they might have some people that'll ruin some folks' day. But it kind of feels like it's the Big Ten and this new look, SEC, which both of them are new look for that matter. And so, we're going to actually get, like the patent said, finally, what was the one that we saw with the mileage? It was like USC going to play Rutgers or whatever. Like that's a conference game. Like that's just so crazy to me, bro. But I'm excited about it and I can't wait to dive deep on it. So I guess without further ado, why don't we just jump right into it while I pull my stuff up for it?
Yeah. I took a few teams from each conference and, wrote their schedules down. So if you want to just we're not going to spend a whole bunch of time going over this. Like these are kind of just going to be predictions from afar. But I have everything here, so I can call out, the team, the game, and then we can discuss what we think. I have my predictions on my sheet. I'll give them either as we go with you or, towards the end. But we can start with the SEC if you'd like. Georgia. Now, looking at these schedules is insane because you've got Clemson, who's not going to be a pushover. Game one. At Kentucky, at Bama, at Texas, at Ole Miss. That's a tough schedule. What do you think about just those games I listed off? Do you think they're going to run the table this year? Let's just start with them.
I think, and I don't mean this in any negative way. You and I already both know that there's not been a more honest person on Georgia football over these past few years than me. Period. I've sung their praises. You know how I feel about Coach Smart. Some pretty interesting connections to the state of Louisiana there with Coach Smart. No. The only people that I think run the table, the only people that think that they're running the table live in Athens. And the reason for that is because it's very, very difficult to suggest that you're going to go into I'm not saying they can't do it, but you asked me if I thought that they would do it. It feels like there's the potential for them to slip up much more than there would be for them to have done it in the recent schedule. And the reason for that is because you and I both know that they were never really playing teams in the SEC West or the Old West that were it just never seemed to be the teams that were competing. And it wasn't until in Atlanta, right? Which, as you can see, even when they did play that team in Atlanta, they still had a path to get in regardless. And we can get into why that may still be the case later on and why it may not even matter. Do I see a path for them to not make the playoff? No, there isn't going to be an odds for that because Vegas knows what we know, and it's that they're going to win. And so if you wanted to look at those specific games, I don't have like an odd chart pulled up, but if you want to go game by game, we could do that quickly on it. I think that they take care of Clemson. I actually like them more on the road at Bama than I do more on the road at Texas. Primarily,
I can tell you something that makes it quick. I have them going 12-0.
That doesn't shock me. I know that you like them a lot too, man. I know that.
I think with Bama,
It's bold though.
I think they'll start 3-0. Obviously, they'll get past Clemson. That Bama game will be big. I think they're gonna rout Bama.
I could see that.
I like the structure of their schedule. So they have
not predicting that, but I can see that.
They have tough game, wash at Texas, where I think they'll be ready. There's no like trap game scenario there. Like Auburn and Mississippi State are sandwiched in between Bama and Texas. And then you got Florida and then at Ole Miss. I think they've got the layout of a schedule you'd want this year. And I think that, and you're like, hey, why does that matter? I think that matters this year with how crazy schedules can get. I think they have the perfectly laid out schedule for a tough schedule. I'm 12-0. I mean, obviously there's three games to point out, right? At Bama, at Texas, at Ole Miss, right? I mean, those are the three big ones. I mean, you can throw the Tennessee home game in there if you want. So for 4. So which ones do you think they're most vulnerable in? I
wanted to pull this up, and then I wanted to pull this up so I could see if they even had it for an example. And it looks like they may. This is terrible for the brand. If not, yeah, I was looking on OddsShark.
I'd imagine Georgia's favored in every game.
Well, yeah, but I wanted specificity, but whatever. Okay, so I told you. So to lead that off, I like them better at home, better on the road at Alabama than I do Texas. Why? I think it'll take time before this Kalen DeBoer offense gets its sea legs, but not as long as I think it takes for the defense. And something that I've picked up on is that the defensive backs for Coach Kalen DeBoer have taken some critical remarks here lately. That's just not his strong suit. And as you know, that Nicholas Saban, that was his strong suit. So I just think for a lot of reasons, first year under him, it's very difficult, but I think that they have the opportunity to do what Brian Kelly did with Alabama and get that game. But I like them more on the road at Alabama than I do at Texas. I think going on the road at Texas and going on the road to Ole Miss is going to be tricky. Newsflash. I actually feel shockingly worse about them being on the road at Texas than I do Ole Miss. Why? Because it seems as though Lane does something out of the ordinary and silly. They've been that, Tyler. They do something. He does something out of the ordinary and silly every single time there's a big game like that. When it's against Bama primarily, but I feel like he'll go for it on 4th and 12, like an onside kick or like a fake punt. Like there's always something. But anyway. I don't see undefeated, man. You've got to. I mean, if
you're looking for odds, I've got 1.5 favorites against Texas and 3.5 against Bama. Do not have anything for the Ole Miss game though. That's by design or not.
And I'm not saying that they're going to drop the game, but someone's gonna have to stop sleeping on Auburn, dude. I'm telling you, that dude is a wizard. I'm telling you, that dude is a wizard. They are so incredibly lucky that game is not on the road because weird stuff happens in Jordan-Hare. That's all I'm saying. But anyway,
move on. We'll move on from that. I think 11-1 at the worst, right? I think they'll be.
That's what their odds are.
They'll be in the title game for the SEC.
Yeah.
Texas.
Yep.
Some notable games. Honestly, their first 5 are pretty simple, and then they've only got pretty simple. They have at Michigan game 2.
I heard pretty simple, and I was like,
yeah, but I'm not high on Michigan. You'll see that in our Big Ten.
But you're still going to Ann Arbor, though.
That's fair. That's fair. okay, I take back the simple talk. I think they start 5-0, and then they've got the game against Oklahoma, which is always a big game, and then they got Georgia after that. I think they lose that game, obviously based on my last take. I've got 11-1. I think they've got some tricky games though.
You think they go to Kyle Field and win too?
Yeah,
And they go to Oklahoma and win too on the road.
Oh, that's a neutral site game.
So this is.
I have them 11-1. I think
Okay.
they have the ability though. Like their ceiling is 11-1, but I think their floor is like, I don't know, 8-4. I can easily like see them dropping some games.
I would say
Like
9-3.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I say that is because this is what I don't like. When you look at it like this and you go, for example, you go Michigan, Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas, A&M, right? And let's just say that that's the most 5 difficult based on what we know right now. And then what the odds in Vegas do is they take that lump sum of average and then bring out and say they have a whatever chance of losing 1.76 games, which means we predict 2. But if you look at the games individually, that's whenever you can really tell. And that's why this is so difficult for us and easy for Vegas, because they put it into a computer and it's done. That last game at A&M is going to be freaking crazy. Do you know how? I don't think you do. However much you think like LSU hates somebody, that's how they hate A&M. That's how A&M hates them. It's like Auburn, Alabama for them, not quite, but it's like Georgia, Auburn for like Texas and Texas A&M type hate. From what I'm told.
Yeah, I do think it's going back to the schedule structure though. Like they have Georgia, right? But after that, at Vandy, Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, then A&M. So like, it's not like they have to go through the gauntlet to get to them. Like some of these teams do. But anyways, it's going to be tough.
On the road at Vanderbilt, the best 5 words you can hear. Everyone's gonna get blacked out and go get their white boots on and their cowboy hat
at 11 a.m.
The 11 a.m. game. And they're
always the 11 a.m. game.
Yeah. And they're gonna go downtown straight after and get absolutely trashed at 3:45 on a Saturday and have no business booking a Sunday morning flight home. And everyone's going to try to go to work on Monday morning, and it's going to be hilarious. Yeah. That is the best road game, because you're using a game where you could have a coin flip because of how hard it is to go to Vandy, and it's a lit trip. It's a lit trip, dude.
Vandy's always a fun time on your schedule.
Freaking getting nasty, bro.
Welcome to that Texas for sure. Let's move on. So you've got Georgia 11-1, Texas 9-3. Is that fair? And I've got them.
I actually think it's very likely that Texas is either 10-2 or 11-1. I don't see 9-3. I was talking about your floor because you said 8-4.
Okay, that's fair.
8-4 and almost threw up in my mouth.
Okay, so let's move on. We'll come back to it. Like I said, these are just picks from afar. It's not going to be anything we're gonna hold our
sure.
Yeah. Anyways, Bama's next, and I'm going in order of the rankings. Favorite. Yeah. This is interesting. So you open up with Western Kentucky and USF, right? At home. I think those are good games for the new system, right? But then you've got a tricky game at Wisconsin. That's a weird game. It's a weird game. You don't have the comfort of Saban anymore. Okay? So I have them winning that game, but I could easily see them slipping up there.
Go ahead. No. I'm just reading ahead of you, but go on. Go ahead.
No. Obviously, losing to Georgia, the fun trip to Vandy.
South Carolina. They get Vandy on the road too, dude.
Yeah. At South Carolina, they host South Carolina, which is weird. And for those NCAA lovers, they have a great team in the video game. So if they translate to the real life field, who knows how many games South Carolina can bust on this. I have them losing at Tennessee, and I have them losing at LSU. I have them going 9-3.
Okay.
Easily can see 8-4. I think their ceiling's 10-2. I think they
Okay.
could maybe beat Tennessee or LSU, one
Bro.
of those. But I
Bro.
can easily see them at 8-4. So,
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, going on the road to Oklahoma just to be rewarded 7 days later with Auburn at the
Auburn,
crib is
yeah, dude, these
crazy,
schedules are
bro.
insanity. These
Bro,
schedules are insanity, man.
these I'm with you.
Yeah,
You
it's
took the
crazy.
words out of my mouth. I don't even really need to comment. The only thing that I would point in your direction, again, if you're to lump it, Wisconsin's weird. One, because it's at 11 a.m. Two, because it's at the North Pole. And secondarily, I don't really think Wisconsin is that great. I actually was very high on them last year, and I
Okay,
regretted
that's
being
fair.
that high. I see them winning that game too. I actually have, shout out to my boy Gary, going up to that game and his pop. They're going to go to that game, and they're going to more than likely have a really great time. Probably going to go do a Lambeau leap on the way. We all know that place is crazy. I don't know how I feel. I think that there is a loss somewhere in South Carolina, Alabama, Missouri that just feels like there's a loss there. And if you wanted me to do the thing that I said I hated the last time, which is go South Carolina, Tennessee, Missouri, LSU, Auburn, Oklahoma, I feel like it's plausible to say that I hear 2 in there. I tend to agree with you though. So
9-3.
and watch Coach DeBoer, because I think he's a savage. Watch him come out and lead these dogs to
Don't be shocked. Don't sleep on them.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, so many people are going to get pissed off when they realize Bama's still good.
Yeah.
So many people.
So that's our first.
Uh-oh. We may have had some technical. Give me a second here. I'm gonna get in touch with Russo real quick and see if everything is all bright and shiny. So, fun fact: Russo and I actually don't live that far away from each other, and so we actually experience the same kind of power crap all the time when it comes to, like, if I'm doing something and he's doing something. So it looks like we did lose Russo for the time being. So we're gonna give him a second to get situated and jump back in here. But anytime, like, we'll be doing things, he'll like, I'll text him and be like, bro, the weather's bad. Did you hear that thunder? And then you'll like listen, and then the thunder hits by him. Let's see.
Hello?
We might have him back.
Can you hear me?
May have him back.
I do apologize for that. Can you see me?
Dude, what happened?
I think the storm here gave me a fun little power surge.
A little fun little ride. Almost
that.
like we should believe people when they say that the power goes out. But you know what? We'll go ahead and move forward. So as it relates to what you're wanting to discuss.
Ole Miss. Oh, okay. You were going to talk? I was going to bring up
Ole Miss. No, I wasn't.
Okay. So Ole Miss. We're just going to forget all that happened. And we're going to move quickly here. Ole Miss, from afar, has probably the second easiest schedule based on these 6 teams. Furman, Middle Tennessee State, at Wake Forest, which is probably, going to be a dub for them. High scoring, maybe. Georgia Southern dub. Kentucky, overlooking them a little bit. At South Carolina, overlooking them a little bit. Then you got at LSU. That's their first tough game through 7 games. And you got Oklahoma, Arkansas, Georgia, Florida, Mississippi State. I have them 11-1. 1 loss to Georgia. I think they go on the road to Tiger Stadium and beat LSU. I think
that'd be a signature win for. And by the way, we agreed, right, that like the best thing that could happen for the SEC and for their viewership is if both of those teams are undefeated going into October 12th.
I have that happening, of course. Yeah. So
they've got an easier path. They
definitely have an easier path. Obviously, they have the Georgia game. But other than that, they've got. I mean, outside of LSU, they've got Oklahoma.
In a
right?
letdown spot. They have Oklahoma. They have Oklahoma either. So South Carolina. So here, listen, I'm going to go quick. If you wanted to bet against them, South Carolina and Oklahoma are going to be your avenues to do so because you either have a look ahead spot or a letdown spot in either one. And if Ole Miss goes on the road and beats LSU, I am hammering Oklahoma. And if they lose to South Carolina, you may want to hammer Ole Miss going into Tiger Stadium because I'm telling you, bro, I don't want a pissed off focused Kiffin if I'm LSU.
Yeah, no, it's they're interesting. I think, right? I think they have the offense to compete with anyone in the country, and that's going to be, I think, the factor again in this game against LSU. I think. It comes down to which defense makes that one stop or which offense makes that first mistake. I think for now, I haven't seen anything that's going to change what happened last year. Obviously, you have different personnel on each side, but still, I'll take Ole Miss in that. I have them 11-1. What say you? And it's gonna hurt from an LSU fan. I need to hear it. Are you saying 11-1, 10-2?
So let's relax for a second. I'm not as confident as you are in their ability to go unscathed through Kentucky, South Carolina, LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Because you know why? Because every single year you and I get on this show, and every year we have the conversation that nobody wants to go on the road and play Arkansas. Nobody. Nobody wants to go and listen to this the South Carolina away game. Nobody wants to go and play at they don't want to go to Florida. Like they don't want to play the Cowbells. However, everybody thinks that's possible that Florida has a bad year. You get State at home. You expect Georgia to be a favorite in that game, but for it to be competitive. But if it goes anything like the Alabama game for Ole Miss last year, there's going to be an assertion of dominance. However, Ole Miss does have the strength on the line of scrimmage that they haven't had at this point. So that's kind of where I'm missed. But you're all of a sudden putting them so quickly, beating Arkansas and taking care of Oklahoma at the crib. So I don't know, man. I'm not like as sure as you. I see it. I tend to think that it's more likely that they would do what they haven't done before, which is do the 11-1. But I think 10-2 is very likely as well. Gun to my head, give me the agreement with you on it. We can't obviously with injuries that matters, but I'll tend to agree with you right now. And based on what we're seeing right now today, and then watch week 1 happen. We're gonna go, JK.
No, of course. Missouri, just quickly glancing over them, have the easiest schedule.
Oh, dude.
Their first 4 games: Murray State, Buffalo, Boston College, Vandy. They don't get to go to Vandy either. All 4 home games.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got at A&M. They got at A&M, which I have them losing. I have them losing to A&M. UMass, another, they'll probably beat the crap out of them after A&M.
It's a main card for you, Missouri. Way to go.
Yeah, then they've got Auburn at home. Could be a trap game with Alabama following that, and then Oklahoma. So they have a tough, out of those 5 middle games, you have 3 that are tough. But that's it. Mississippi State, Arkansas at the end. I mean,
what they do with Auburn and Oklahoma is going to make it, cuz.
I think I've got them 9-3 conservatively. I think 9-3.
I tend to think more 9-3 than 8-4. I think it's very possible, but that means that they're losing all their hard games. I don't think they'll do that. I think Coach Drink, even though he's kind of a little dweeby, I actually like him a lot. I would love to have him on the show. I love that guy. I think he is such a fun watch. So I'll agree with you with 9-3. Don't sleep if we come back here, like to the same exact podcast come October, say 19th, and we're having an interesting viewpoint on Missouri. Remember that I said that.
And we'll close the SEC talk with our alma mater, LSU. What say you? Let's hear you first. You know the schedule probably by heart now. So
I'm not listen.
say you.
The whole stage gets set when you go to Vegas. However you want to talk about this, it doesn't matter where you reside. Brian Kelly has to win this game. Period. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care about the Jimmies and the Joes and the X's and O's. Has there ever been two more comparable teams than USC and LSU like right now in this moment? You know what I'm saying? Like based on what we know, if you're Brian Kelly, you have to win this game, because if you don't win this game, then you're literally running the rat race yet again of saying, I have to do everything right. And I'm in the camp thinking that a 9-3 team will not make the playoff. The reason for that is because I don't see enough other teams that have a difficult enough schedule to also be at that point that there's going to be so many freaking 10-2s or so many good 9-3s. I don't think that a 9-3 team can make that. So if you're Brian Kelly, you have to win this game. You have to, no matter what it takes. You have to win this game. If you do, then I like your chances going into Ole Miss with that game. And then if you end up dropping that game, then it puts kind of your back against the wall, because you do have to follow that up with going to Arkansas, going to A&M, Bama at the crib, going to Florida. And that's not an easy stretch of four, dude. That's not. And I tend to think that I'm having a difficult time getting away from 9-3 with this team. I do see a path, and I think your ceiling is probably something like, I think your ceiling is probably 10-2, man. I just, again, based on what I'm seeing today, and I think the floor could be maybe like an 8-4, but I'm having a difficult time getting off that 9-3. But
I'm there too,
because I just don't, because we've done this so long, dude. Like
they've got to win that game. That's the game. And look, there's some good games. That is the game of the year. I think if you are to feel so much confidence to bet a lot of money on a game, you've got to take LSU.
And wonder who did that the last few years.
We've done it the last few years. There's just no way. There's no way. Because you're right. You make a good point. They have very comparable situations, right? Two Heisman quarterbacks gone. Defense is sus, right? Sus last year. Who knows what's going to happen this year? Did they get a new defensive coordinator too, just like we did?
Yeah, Danton Lynn.
So yeah, so it's crazy, and they're going into a new conference as well. It's just, I don't know, man. I'm so excited. That's the game of the year for me, and they have to. It's a must win.
Here's what I'll say. I'm not in the belief of saying if you lose to USC, then the wheels fall off, for the reason of we've literally watched the wheels not be off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I keep going back to this point, and this is not to discredit the win from anybody in any way. I'm not. But if you're truthful and honest with yourself, you had pretty much anything that could go wrong for you go wrong for one team in one way, and almost everything go right for one team in the other way. And it took a dropped pass in the end zone for LSU to lose on the road at Ole Miss. Like, that's what it took. That game decided a lot. Like, and so the reason why I say that is because these coaches that have been in this for a long time, they don't freak out. And the teams, and despite the fact that there are veterans that have left, this is a veteran team. As in, your whole offensive line is like 43 years old. Like, everybody's old. Like, everyone's taking 4,000 level courses, or they're already done with their coursework. Like, you've got the guys in the room that won't trip out. But what I do think needs to happen for the sake of the younger guys that haven't experienced that before is you can't afford to go yet again on the road 3 years in a row with the same coach and lose the game, because now everybody's complaining. And it's like whenever you go out of town and you come back to like 35 unread work emails. No one wants to come home to a pissed off city and fan base. Nobody. So I don't want that to creep into their minds. But the good news is that you've got some games to kind of try to get your mojo back going before, you've kind of got the brute of the schedule. So I don't think if they lose that the wheels are going to fall off. But I do think that for the younger guys, dude, it's going to matter a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. And if you don't lose, and if you don't win that game, Roos, if you don't win that game,
it's going to be bad.
You and I are having a very, very, very similar and somber podcast episode the following week.
And it goes back to schedule structure. I think this is another perfect example of that. I think if you can get past USC and you've gotten us playing at a level that we expect or that y'all expect, I think 11-1 is possible with the schedule layout.
If he's nice like that.
If he's nice, I think the defense will take a step forward this year. I believe that much in how much we've bought in with Baker. That's just me. I won't worry about them. I will worry about the quarterback. And if he turns out to be nice, 11-1 is possible. But conservatively, 9-3 as well. So let's just go over that. So we've got Georgia in the title game. And we've got Ole Miss, Texas. Tiebreaker rules are still kind of being discussed right now. I don't know if there's anything officially out there. Because, there's a new standing structure now. There's no divisions. I think Georgia, no matter what, comes out as the conference champion. They're in. I think we have 4 teams. SEC has 4 teams. And I think one of them will be 9-3.
Interesting.
They're going to be the exception due to strength of schedule. It won't be Missouri. Missouri's strength of schedule is garbage. Okay, they're out. They don't play anyone. Okay. I think Texas is in. I think Ole Miss is in, and I think it's going to come down to who wins that Bama LSU game.
I think,
or maybe who wins that game. Honestly, that's going to be determinant in my mind. I think 10-2. If LSU goes 10-2, they're in the playoff.
Oh yeah, if they go 10-2 with that schedule, they're in. So that's
9-3, maybe. A 9-3 SEC team's going to get in and piss a 1-loss Liberty off, or like some bum school, like a Tulane, maybe it's going to happen this year. They're going to set the precedent right away that 3 games is acceptable depending on your schedule.
We may get into this in a second with the Big Ten as to how that matters. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you want to, for example, if you look at, current king of it all, Michigan.
Yeah, we can segue into the Big Ten. I mean, and let's start with them,
dude. I mean,
what do you got?
Game. So if you look at it the way I'm reading this, dude, I've got a difficult time seeing them go unscathed. I'm not high on them.
Unscathed? That's what you're worried about?
I see them. I've
got 8-4. I got 8-4.
I see Texas beating them. I see Oregon beating them.
I have Washington beating them on the road.
I see Ohio State beating them. I don't know about Washington yet.
They'll lose one of those road games. They'll lose one of those games.
Okay.
Between Washington, USC, Illinois, they'll lose.
I can see an 8-4 with you, but I wouldn't.
9-3 to be.
I think 9-3 is
respectful of the champions. 9-3.
Based on what we know right now.
But a 9-3 Michigan's not getting in. If a 3-loss team, look, their schedule, they've got Texas on there, sure, but that's the only tough non-conference game they've got. So that matters. I think that's going to very much matter this year. I've got them irrelevant in this. They're not going to be in contention for a championship game or a playoff game. So we can just quickly glance over them. I think this is going to be a down year for them. I think they sold out and they got their championship, and now it's time to move on.
So, considering the team that hasn't been able to beat them in quite some time, do you want to go ahead and talk about
Ohio State?
I mean, you're starting.
Let's talk about them. I think this discussion needs to start and end with the big three, in my opinion: Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. Okay, we can start with Ohio State. Those are the big three. I think those three are the teams that get in to the playoff.
They go on the road to Oregon.
Who are we talking about?
Ohio State goes on the road to Oregon and Penn State.
Yeah, but their schedule, and I have them losing both of those games. I have them going 10-2, losing both of those games. Now, grateful that you brought that up. And honestly, and I don't know how this is going to play out. I've got Ohio State 10-2 with those two games. I've got Oregon going undefeated, 12-0.
Ooh,
12-0.
Ooh,
I'm on the hype train. I'm on the Oregon hype train. Not Drew Gabriel, Dylan Gabriel. Respect his name.
I think I go the other way, in which I can see Ohio State losing a game.
Ohio State is at Oregon. That's a tough game. It's going to be a tough game for them. I think if there is a trap game anywhere at Michigan, maybe they prove me wrong, right? That's going to be a tough game. That's their toughest game outside of Ohio State. Because they avoid Penn State graciously. So yeah.
I mean, they gotta go to Lambeau too, dude.
That's what I'm saying. That's a trap game. I'm overlooking Michigan, and look, if they go out there and have a good season, I'll eat crow.
For everybody that thinks that we go over all these notes before the show, every show, I was not ready for that.
Yeah.
Listen, it could happen. It could happen.
Georgia and Oregon will be 12-0.
Okay, then let's go to the next one then.
Penn State 11-1. 11
going to M-Town to start the year, dude. Pat McAfee stand up.
Country Road, and they're going to get their ass kicked. Penn State is not playing around this year. Penn State is that team. I just unfortunately think they are victim to the trap game somewhere. They'll win their big games. They are just victim to the trap game. Somewhere like a Wisconsin. I'm looking at the schedule, or a USC,
dude,
somewhere in there. But if they get past Ohio State undefeated, like if they get to Ohio State,
Russo.
Yeah,
they're flying across the earth like Amelia Earhart to go play USC, and then coming back to go play at Wisconsin. I can't see them winning both of those games, dog. I'm sorry.
Trey, you might want to zoom in a little bit on your. I think you have the blur going on. There you
go. That's on my body. I don't see them going across to California winning, and then I definitely don't see them coming back to their crib. And that's tough. Yeah. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, but anyways, it's tough. I think Oregon will be that team that I want Penn State to be. But I think Penn State's going to drop a game somewhere. But those are the three that make it. I've got Oregon and Penn State in the conference championship game.
Oregon and what?
Oregon and Penn State in the conference championship game. Because Penn State gets the nod over Ohio State. Head-to-head there. What are you giving me those eyes for?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dude, I love this.
Yeah, Snee. Yeah. Ohio State's not losing to Penn State. Yeah. I just don't see what y'all see about Ohio State this year.
They have everyone good from the transfer portal. They spent so much money, dude.
Penn State is that team as well as Oregon. Oregon is those are my two best teams out there. I think Ohio State will lose to twice. Oregon, Penn State. And that's there's no disrespect. Those are two tough games for Ohio State. Oh, jeez. There's the hurricane coming out there. Hope y'all heard that. At Oregon, at Penn State, that's no joke, man. Those are two tough games. So, I don't know. Even if you're right, Snee, Ohio State can beat Penn State because Penn State still makes the championship with 2 losses, or makes the playoffs with 2 losses. So, those are my big 3: Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. That makes 7 teams from this video making the playoffs, in my opinion. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to say Georgia. I'm going to say Texas. I'm going to say Ole Miss. Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State. That's 6. And the winner of Bama LSU's in. Unless Missouri gets past A&M, then maybe. If their defense holds up after the loss of Baker, then maybe. But
the season's going to be crazy.
It's crazy. If you like going to look at the standings this year was absurd because
I know.
Like especially like the Big 12. Like next week we'll go over the Big 12 and the ACC. You just see so many new faces. It's like the Pac-12 basically just disassembled. But that's the wrap up. Obviously, no disrespect to any of the other teams. A&M and Tennessee will be 2 sleepers, but we don't have time to go over every SEC team. They're going to all beat up on each other, in the middle.
They'll have their time in the sun, believe me.
Yeah, they'll beat up on everyone. Like the middle of the pack's going to beat up on each other. But those 6 teams, I feel like just like Missouri being on here over A&M, their schedule's so easy. So yeah. But that's at least 6 teams, probably 7. Maybe my theory doesn't come true. Maybe it's just 6 teams from this video. Definitely 3 from each. And that's the breakdown, man. Like I said, we like doing things all live here. Like we like having conversations like we'd have them, without the cameras rolling.
Right.
So it's going to be a fun year, man. This shows how fun this season's going to be. The ability to lose a game and be like, okay. It's like LSU. That's why the LSU game is so important against USC. Because if you start 5-0, it's like, okay, you take a little bit of pressure off yourself with Ole Miss. And if you beat Ole Miss, then all you got to do is just go 1-1 against Bama and A&M. And hopefully not overlook Oklahoma. I have disrespected the shit out of Oklahoma this video. I think every team I named, I've given Oklahoma the L to. I've disrespected them heavy, and that might come back and bite me in the ass. However, a lot of these teams get them at home. But I have disrespected them a lot, and I just want to announce that because, geez, they could play spoiler in one of these 6 teams for sure. Texas, they're always live against Texas. They're always going to be live against us. It's just the last game of the year. Thankfully, it's in Tiger Stadium. They got Oklahoma at Bama. Bama at Oklahoma. Ole Miss host Oklahoma. They have a tough. I didn't even look at their schedule, but just seeing based on these,
it's tough.
It's gonna be tough. But that's gonna be it, man. That was fun. We'll do it again next week with the ACC and the Big 12. And then I just want to give an announcement as far as a betting perspective. We're going to utilize TikTok more and Prize Picks. Shout out to them. We're obviously, it was like we announced last video, player props for college football are banned in the state of Louisiana. So thankfully, I have a few resources and a few good buddies. A good buddy of mine in Texas that's going to help me out and get some Prize Picks action, which is legal in basically any state that sports gambling is not legal in. So we're going to make some videos utilizing TikTok on that every week. We're gonna have some futures videos coming out in the next couple weeks, and then every week we'll do a play of the week. We'll have 6-player props. So if you like tailing those, be on the lookout for that. We'll have more information on that next week. Outside of that, anything else from you, Coach?
No, man. I think this is actually kind of perfect. I think it's going to be a wild season, and I can't wait to get started. I can't believe it's only a few weeks away. I'm having trouble sleeping already thinking about it, and just kind of ready to get this train rolling, bro. Because there's just not a better time than when you have college football on Saturdays. Maybe the weather isn't 117 degrees every single moment of your life. I'm ready for some fall. I'm ready for some winter. I'm ready for some college football, and I'm ready for a good time, bro. Ready.
You know what the perfect thing about us playing USC is? You know what the next day is? Labor Day. And
Labor Day. To either
So,
celebrate
yeah.
by a pool or cry in a dark room.
Yeah. I've watched that first game, I think, with Snee every year. We went to your house for the first game against Forest Day where Malik Neighbors forgot how to catch a punt.
We can run it back, just maybe not here.
I watched it with Snee last year and with him against UCLA.
Dude.
So maybe I can't watch it with Snee this year. I don't know. Shout out to Episcopal. Hopefully they have a good season themselves. I'm sure their jamboree is coming up here pretty soon. We'll always love to plug the Episcopal Knights into here. I hope I didn't butcher that. Anyways, that is it for us. He said, ouch, LOL. That is it for us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out that TikTok. We're going to be utilizing it a lot this year. And we'll see y'all next week.